Hi, I'm Dave, and welcome back to A Giant Slayer's Leadership Focus. Today's lesson is taken from John Maxwell's study, Learning to Become a Person of Influence. And we've studied several lessons so far, but today's lesson is an influencer, a positive influencer, navigates for others. Now let's face it, there are people in life who can look ahead and see a problem and avoid that problem. That's wisdom. Then there are those who are very resilient. They seem to just bounce back. They can experience a problem, they can get through and fix it. They seem to come out on top every time. They love tackling those problems. Then there are those, sadly, that can't see ahead and see the problem, can't avoid it. They get themselves into messes and experience that mess, and they can't fix the problem, and they become overwhelmed. So we've got all kinds of people in our lives who experience problems differently. But as a positive influencer who navigates for others, there's some things that we should know about our people. And the first thing is, well, there's three things really we should know. And we should know what they're capable of, what their talents and skills and abilities are. We should know what they want to do with their life and where they want to go with their life or in our organization. And thirdly, we should know what they're passionate about. What deeply moves this person? What makes them highly upset? What makes them leap for joy? And if we know those three things and we can connect those three things, then we can help that person navigate and plot a course for their life. So what makes them cry? What makes them sing? And what can they do well? The next thing we should know is where they need to go. Now, as a parent, this is an easy trap to get caught up in. And we can want our children to achieve great success, and subconsciously, we can be pushing that child in a direction to achieve a dream that maybe we had and we didn't pursue. And we end up living our lives out through that child. That's the wrong way to go. In an organization, sometimes we want to use people in a position to help us achieve an overall goal without really considering what this person really wants to do, what they're capable of doing, and we can stifle their creativity, and they just become another cog in the wheel. We need to know what others need to know. Now, once we've discovered where they need to go, what do they need to know? Is it educational? Is it a skill set? Do they need to grow emotionally? How do they need to grow, and what do they need to know? Now, a good navigator helps people understand some things. And the first thing, we need to help people understand that everyone faces problems. Sometimes there's this myth in people's minds that once you're successful and once you've arrived at this place, that you've got your mindset on that our problems go away. They don't. They just become bigger sometimes. So we need to help them have a healthy perspective about problems and how to solve them, to look at them as opportunities and challenges to grow. Because if we don't ever get to the place where we can solve problems on the level we're at, being more successful just going to mean more problems. And if we haven't learned how to solve problems at the lower level, we're going to be overwhelmed at the problems at the upper level. So I've seen this to be true in my own life. So something else too we need to help people understand is not to listen to critics. And when I'm talking about criticism, I'm not talking about not being able to listen to constructive advice. We need to teach them not to listen to critics and be able to discern the difference. There are people out there in life who never had a dream, and they're critical of those who do have. And there are those who've had a dream and abandoned it, and they've become bitter, and they're speaking out their resentment. So we need to help them discern the difference between those who are actually giving us critical advice on how to achieve our goals and those who are just being critical. We need to help others learn to not become overwhelmed by challenges. And how do we do that? Well, once we know where they need to go and what they need to do to grow and what they need to grow with, we need to help them align their lives in that direction they need to go, and we need to help them streamline their lives and remove some of those things, those activities that are not actually lined up with their goals and dreams. So I call that streamlining. We've got to look at our life, look at our results, and start pulling things out of our life that's not getting us where we need to go. Too much activity, it becomes dispersed, we lose our focus, and we can become overwhelmed. We need to instill confidence in others. A navigator instills confidence. And I'm not talking about just going by and giving compliments and insincere flattery. I'm talking about really knowing this person and knowing what their triggers are that helps them build their confidence. That means we're going to have to spend some time with people. And that brings me to my last point, is a navigator stays with the people. When I think about the term navigator, I think about a ship and its captain. And the code of the sea is that the captain doesn't abandon the ship. not until everybody on that ship is off. If they have to leave the ship, he's to make sure that everybody gets off as safely as possible, and then he's allowed to leave. So we need to stay with the people. Also, don't be a seagull leader. And I love this term that John taught in one of his other lessons. A seagull leader is one of those people who are not there very often, but when they do, they fly in, they see all the problems, they do a lot of squawking, and then they crap all over everybody and just fly out. Now think about it. How many leaders have you had like that in your life who want to tell you what the problems are, want to really hammer you for it, and fly out and expect you to fix it? Now we need to be a leader who comes in, if we see problems, stay with the team, help them work through the problems, and then stay with that person until they're able to navigate for themselves. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed today's lesson. I'm going to put a little survey on my website in the comment section so that you can fill it out. Maybe I think it's got 3 different people that you can write down that you want to be a positive influencer and navigator for, and a little system to help you do that. So leave me your comments on my website. I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.